My name is Vivian Gallo. I'm the founder of Health Resources Consultants, Inc. I am a professional long-term disability claims consultant. And I want to share with you one of our clients' success stories. The name of our client, for confidentiality purposes, is Dr. Ship. He was a dentist who worked 44 hours a week as a general chairside dentist. 40 of those hours were spent treating patients, and 4 of them were spent doing administrative duties. What was slightly different in Dr. Ship's case is that in addition to his general dentistry practice, he spent about 4 hours a week doing administrative and managerial duties at a company he co-owned that provided services of dental assistants, receptionists, clerical personnel to other dental practitioners, something like a temp or an employment agency. Dr. Ship's initial symptoms were diagnosed as cervical spondylosis, sciatica, and arthritis of his right elbow. About 5 years after the initial diagnosis, he physically became unable to perform general dentistry despite his ongoing treatments. At that time, a specialist determined that he needed surgery on both his elbow as well as his spine. He had several disability policies. He had purchased 4 over the course of his career, 2 policies with one insurer and 2 with another. I worked with him on the initial claim filing to assure that the documentation clearly defined his occupation as a chairside dentist. Through both surgeries and recuperation, there were no problems with his claims for total disability from either carrier. Carrier 1 we'll refer to as Company ABC. He had 2 policies with ABC, and total disability was defined as the insured's inability to engage in his regular occupation. His regular occupation defined as the occupation he regularly engaged in for profit at the onset of his disability. So in this case, it was as a general chairside dentist. In addition, Policy 2 included a second definition of residual disability as a rider. Residual disability was the inability to perform one or more of the material duties of his occupation, or the substantial and material duties of his occupation for as much time as is usually required to perform them. Recovery brings new challenges. Both surgeries on his elbow as well as his spine were successful, and after full recovery, he found he still was unable to treat patients. Insurer ABC continued to pay Dr. Ship total disability benefits based on the fact that he was unable to treat patients as the primary source of his earned income. Dr. Ship never had problems with Insurer ABC. Insurer 2 we'll call XYZ. He had 2 policies with XYZ. Both defined total disability as the inability to perform the material and substantial duties of his occupation, meaning the occupation he engaged in immediately before his disability. These 2 policies also define residual disability as being unable to do one or more of the important daily business or professional duties, or perform the duties for the length of time they are usually required. Here's where the claim battle begins with Company XYZ. Despite the fact that the policy definitions of both companies were almost identical, Dr. Ship's claim battle with XYZ began following his recuperation. Company XYZ's position was that the administrative duties Dr. Ship engaged in 4 hours weekly with the company he co-owned and that was located at a totally different site were part of the material and substantial duties of his occupation. And they maintained that Dr. Ship could still perform administrative duties. So Company XYZ considered Dr. Ship as residually and not totally disabled. They disregarded the fact that Dr. Ship had spent very little time at his co-owned corporation, and that that company had hired management to oversee and run the second business prior to his being disabled. Here's where legal intervention became necessary. Company XYZ refused to alter their position despite the tax returns and financial records that reflected that 95% of Dr. Shipp's income came from being a practicing chairside dentist. The need for legal intervention is generally the last resort and only used in very rare cases. It takes a long time to settle, and it's extremely costly. The legal battle at this point with Company XYZ was not an issue per se concerning total disability. The issue involved the legal interpretation of contract law. Did the 4 hours of administrative duties for his second company constitute material and substantial duties of Dr. Shipp's occupation? One company said no. The other disagreed, which impacted the benefits that would be payable for Dr. Shipp's entire life. So here's the legal outcome. In the end, the court found in favor of Dr. Shipp. And although it seemed clear that Dr. Shipp was totally disabled under all 4 policy definitions, you never know how an insurance company will proceed during a claim. Dr. Shipp was thankful that by working with me, we had established a solid foundation from the very start of this claim process. We provided comprehensive medical and financial documentation. Interpreting the meaning and content of contract language became a decision for the courts, and this was seemingly a straightforward long-term disability claim. So even when things seemed straightforward and clear-cut, as in Dr. Shipp's situation, one could never have foreseen the strange turn of events such as this one. My name is Vivian Gallo. I am a professional long-term disability claims consultant. If you have any issues or concerns about your disability, please contact me. I'm here to help.